Hello, I'm Celeste and welcome to a new year. I am here because a friend of mine is doing some movie challenge. Let me find the name of it. One sec. Let's see. It's a horror movie challenge, of course, because I don't think I'd bother doing a movie challenge with the limited time I have if it was not horror. It's called Everyone's a Critic 52-Week Movie Challenge Horror Edition. All right, so I decided to try to follow along with this, and the first prompt is for the first week is a horror best picture nominee. So I decided, since there's very limited number of them that are horror, I decided to rewatch Black Swan. And I'm pretty happy that I did. I was actually better than I remembered, and I can see why it was nominated. Obviously, there's spoilers. So if you don't want spoilers, don't watch anymore. But some of the things that were really good about Black Swan is just the way it was shot. You could really feel the tension building up. The acting was really good. So the character of Nina, played by Natalie Portman, there's so much to this character. Just you can see the perfectionism, the pressure she puts on herself, the pressure that they're all putting on themselves. There's ageism going into play, how they're talking about this dancer who is too old, basically commenting on how old she is and how she shouldn't be dancing anymore when, no, she's not obviously that old, but it's just obsessed with youth, apparently. And also just, very image conscious, and she's very repressed. And you could tell she doesn't do much outside of dancing and performing and working towards that goal. And in comes this other dancer, Lily, and suddenly she's confronted with a dancer who's good and free and has these less controlled movement, but she also goes out and drinks and smokes and does drugs and doesn't worry, eats food that the other dancers are not eating. And I think it kind of creates a crisis. And while all that is going on, you also have the character of Nina is hallucinating. And it's a theme throughout the whole movie. She'll see figures passing and that she thinks looks like her, or, things are moving that shouldn't, or doing things. And then she ends up hallucinating a lot of the character of Lily and things that Lily does. And Lily kind of acts as a foil for her because she's the opposite. She's everything that I think Nina wants to be, but isn't. I do need to talk about that really creepy, ballet director guy. I don't know what is wrong with him. Well, I do know what's wrong with him. But man, he is real creepy and skeezy, and he's trying to evoke passion and this natural feeling from the dancers, but he does it in a really gross, creepy way that victimizes them. So even though they're looking up to him as brilliant, he comes off as abusive and creepy. Also, yeah, I'm always covered in animal hairs because Morgan and I like to have animals, and I'm obsessed with uranium glass. So here we go. Just a little off topic. So there's all those things that go into it. Now, one thing I thought was interesting is that they named the character Lily, and Lily is seen as sort of the bad girl, the Black Swan, because, Nina's the perfect white swan, controlled and proper and perfect, and the Black Swan is supposed to be seductive and wild and, a temptress and sort of the bad girl, which Lily embodies perfectly. But the name Lily, it means pure and good. And so when it came to the end of the movie and Nina thinks that she is stabbing Lily, it seems like she's stabbing that white swan part of herself. She is killing the white swan in herself so she can fully transform and embody the Black Swan, which she does. And then she dies, which makes it a horror movie in that sense. It's not a slasher. There's not a bunch of blood and gore. It's very psychological, which I liked. And finally, that brings me to the character of the mom. And I need to talk about the mom because this character has a lot to her. You don't see her very often, but you can just feel how controlling she is, how she's putting all of her ambitions from life onto her daughter, and how much she controls and infantilizes Nina. Like, Nina is a grown woman, but she's being treated like a little girl. Her bedroom still looks like a little girl's bedroom. It's full of girl things, stuffed animals, dolls, things like that. It doesn't look like an adult's bedroom. You can also see that Nina is very inexperienced with dating and adult relationships, and that she feels afraid of her mom's reactions or how she's going to react to things. Her mom seems like she's guilt-tripping her a lot in saying all the things she gave up because she got pregnant with Nina. There's no father mentioned or appearing, but the mom is a really twisted character, and she really threw me off, and it actually really reminded me of this book I was reading. And I know I'm going on a tangent. I tend to do this. This is where I alienate people by talking about things that nobody else knows or cares about, but I'm going to anyway. So, and I'm sure, I guarantee other people have read this book, but it reminded me of this book called The Piano Teacher. I'm going to butcher the name, saying it, the author's name, Alfred Jelinek. It was originally published in 1983. And the mom in this, and so the mom is not named in this book. The daughter's name is Erica in the book, and she is very, very similar to Nina in a lot of ways, in that she's a grown woman and she has a talent, and she is not seen as her own person. She is seen as her talent. And her mother just completely controls every aspect of her life through guilt, through whatever means she can, and also keeps her infantilized, does not let her grow up and experience mature adult woman things. And there were so many similarities to me when I was watching Black Swan to the character of Erica in The Piano Teacher. So if you're interested in that dynamic with the mom, check out that book if you haven't already. But one of the things about Black Swan that is interesting is the ending, because people see it as, oh, she finally achieved it. She met her goal. She was the Black Swan. She embodied it. But it's really, I think, a lot of commentary on perfectionism and how detrimental that is, because the reason that Nina wasn't really able to perform the role in the way that they wanted her to is because she was so focused on doing the moves correctly and being right and being good at it. And she put so much focus into that she wasn't able to lose herself in the role and the feel of the role. And the only time she was able to do that is after she killed the white swan part of her, the good girl part that did what she was supposed to and listened to her mom and, didn't eat. And, she's shown, I think, to have an eating disorder as well, and puts all this pressure on herself. And she had to get rid of that part of herself in order to do the performance. But because that is who she is, she was created by her mom, by ballet and all those things to be this perfectionist that she could not achieve killing that off without actually killing herself, because it is a part of her. She is the white swan, and to become the black swan, it seems too contradictory, I think, to her, that those things can't go together, and she can't let go of all these good things to embody the black swan without ending herself. And it's really sad. And it's also really sad that they don't really delve too much into mental illness. But obviously, as she's dealing with mental illnesses, it seems like she definitely has anxiety, and I'm not sure what the hallucinations are caused by. They don't explicitly say what they're caused for. And hallucinations could be a multitude of things. It could be, you know, because she's starving herself. It could be something like schizophrenia. It could, you know, I can't exactly speculate on what's causing it, but it is a major part of her character. And it seems like everyone around her wants to exploit what she's good at and what her talent is without addressing that she's clearly struggling and has mental health issues. And that's completely ignored or glossed over. Which again, going to the piano teacher, the character of Erica is so repressed that, but she's also extremely talented at piano, and that was basically what she was raised to do, was be a piano player. And I think that Nina was raised to be a ballet dancer. I think that that was basically the option she was given growing up. There was never any alternative ideas of what she would be, and she had to be really good. But yeah, I have a lot to say about this movie. I'm happy I rewatched it. I'm excited for the rest of the list, if I can keep up with it, which is always a big if, because I tend to do too much. But hopefully Morgan will join me for some of these as well, and we can talk about the movies, because it's always fun for me to talk about movies. There's some interesting prompts on this list. So we're going to see where it takes us and how much I can keep up with this. But thanks for joining me for this video, and Happy New Year!